Have you ever had the feeling that something about you might be bothering others, but no one says a word? Maybe it's the way you speak lately, or a small habit that used to go unnoticed but now lingers in the air. The truth is, as we get older, it's easy to pick up little behaviors, subtle things that quietly affect the people around us. And most of the time, no one tells us, not because they don't care, but because they do. They don't want to hurt our feelings, so they stay silent. But that silence can keep us from seeing something important, that how we show up, even in small ways, shapes the way others feel about being near us. You see, most of these habits aren't done with bad intentions. In fact, we might not even notice them in ourselves. Life gets busy, our routines settle in. And slowly, without meaning to, we may stop seeing what others quietly observe every day. This video isn't about judgment. It's not about being perfect or pretending to be someone you're not. No, this is about awareness. About pausing for a moment, taking a breath, and asking, is there something I've stopped noticing about myself? Something small I could shift, not for other people, but for me. Because here's the truth, even the tiniest changes in how we carry ourselves, how we listen, how we speak, or even how we take care of our appearance can completely change the energy we bring into a room, and that energy, people feel it. Whether it's your spouse, your kids, your friends, or even a kind stranger at the grocery store, the way you present yourself has more impact than you think. I've seen this with people I love. A friend of mine in her late 60s once told me that she didn't realize how much her tone had shifted over the years. She had always been kind, but after losing her husband and facing a few health issues, she unknowingly started sounding tired, short, a little bitter even. No one told her, but people began drifting away. When she finally saw it, she cried, not because she felt ashamed, but because she realized she could take back control, and she did, step by step. Today, she's glowing again, still real, still wise, but now people gravitate toward her like sunlight. That's what this video is about, not fixing yourself, but rediscovering the version of you that people truly connect with. So, if you're open to it, I invite you to join me. Let's take a look gently, honestly, at 6 things we might be doing without realizing it. 6 habits that could be sending the wrong signals, even when our hearts are in the right place. This might just help you feel more confident, more seen, and more connected to the people who matter most. Ready? Let's begin. Let's start with something simple, but surprisingly powerful: personal grooming. Now, before you think, oh, that doesn't apply to me, let's take a moment to really reflect. When was the last time you looked in the mirror not just to check your hair or clothes, but really looked with curiosity, not judgment? Sometimes, as the years go by, we slowly stop noticing the little things: a shirt that's too worn, nails that need trimming, a stain we didn't catch before heading out. It's not that we don't care, it's just that we get used to it, and life has a way of shifting our focus. Health challenges, emotional fatigue, or simply falling into a routine can make those small self-care habits fall by the wayside. But here's the thing. Other people notice, even if they never say a word. They may not judge you out loud, but silently, they start to wonder, is she okay? Has he stopped caring about himself? And sometimes those quiet questions turn into distance. Not because they want to pull away, but because something no longer feels the same. I remember a man named Frank, a kind soul in his early 70s. He'd always been sharp, well-kept, and full of life. But after a rough patch with his health, something changed. His shirts looked wrinkled, his beard went untrimmed. His shoes looked like they hadn't been cleaned in months. People still greeted him, sure, but the warmth felt thinner, more polite than genuine. One day, he caught his reflection in a store window and barely recognized the man looking back. That moment shifted everything. He didn't go out and buy new clothes or do anything drastic. He just started brushing his hair again, trimming his nails, taking a few more minutes each morning to show himself the care he deserved. And wouldn't you know, people began lighting up around him again. Not because he looked younger, but because he carried himself with quiet dignity. And people respond to that. Always. Taking care of your appearance isn't about vanity, it's about self-respect. It's a way of saying, I'm still here. I still matter. I still care, and when you do that, it ripples outward. It reminds your family, your friends, even strangers, that you're still engaged with life, that you still take pride in showing up. So, if it's been a while since you gave yourself that kind of attention, maybe today is the day. Open that closet, grab the brush, tidy up the little details, not for anyone else, for you. And if you're finding this message helpful, take a moment to click that subscribe button. We're here to share honest, uplifting content for people like you, people who care about growing, connecting, and living with intention. Your support means the world to us, and it helps keep this community going strong. Ready for the next habit? Let's keep going. Let me ask you something and be honest with yourself. Have you ever caught yourself complaining a little more than usual? Maybe it's about the mail arriving late, the weather being too hot, or the grocery store clerk not smiling enough. At first, it seems harmless. Just venting, but over time, something shifts, not just in you, but in how others feel around you. It often starts with the tiniest irritations, and we all have them. Life isn't always smooth, especially as we age. Aches, slower routines, changes in how the world moves, it's understandable to feel frustrated. But what many of us don't realize is how quickly those small complaints can become the background music of our everyday conversations. And when that music plays too loud or too often, it starts to drown out the warmth people once felt in our presence. People don't usually tell you when it's happening. They nod politely, they smile, they stay kind, but deep down, they begin to pull back. They might visit less, call less, or keep things brief, not because they don't love you, but because, honestly, it starts to feel emotionally heavy. Let me tell you about Harold. He was 80, a gentle and incredibly intelligent man who had been through a lot, including losing his wife a few years earlier. In his grief, he started seeing the world through a darker lens. Conversations became filled with what's wrong, how things aren't like they used to be, how the neighborhood had changed, how nothing worked the way it should. His friends, though deeply loyal, began to keep their distance. The sadness in his tone became too consistent, too predictable. One day, his granddaughter gently told him something that changed everything. She said, "Grandpa, when you talk about the good old days, when you smile while remembering, we all lean in, we want to hear more. But when everything's a complaint, it gets hard to listen." That moment stayed with Harold. Not because it hurt his pride, but because it reminded him of who he used to be, the storyteller who could light up a room. He didn't stop being honest about the hard stuff. But he started mixing in the good, the funny memories, the little wins, the everyday beauty he still noticed. Slowly, his circle of friends returned. People started staying longer, laughing more, and feeling lighter when they left, and that's the lesson. Sharing struggles is part of being human, but balancing honesty with hope, that's the key. It's not about pretending everything's fine. It's about choosing which stories we repeat, which moments we highlight, and what kind of energy we leave behind in the hearts of others. So, the next time you're tempted to start with a complaint, pause for just a second. Ask yourself, is this what I want to be remembered for today? You might be surprised at how different your day and your relationships begin to feel. Have you ever found yourself in the middle of a conversation and realized you're doing most of the talking? Or maybe, without meaning to, you interrupted someone just as they were about to finish a thought. Don't worry, it happens to the best of us. Especially as we get older, we carry with us a lifetime of stories, lessons, and opinions that feel worth sharing. And often, our intentions are good. We want to connect. We want to offer insight. We want to relate. But here's the thing, sometimes in trying to connect, we accidentally push others, especially younger people, away. What we might see as being engaged, others might experience as being overshadowed. You see, everyone wants to feel heard. That includes your adult children, your grandchildren, even the neighbor you chat with at the mailbox. When we interrupt or steer conversations back to our own stories too often, it sends an unintended message that what the other person is saying isn't as important. It's subtle, most people won't call you out for it. They'll just smile, nod, and slowly stop opening up. Let me tell you about someone I knew, Walter. He was 83, full of wisdom and sharp as ever. A retired school principal, he had a story for every situation. At family dinners, he'd often take center stage without even realizing it. His kids and grandkids stopped chiming in, not because they weren't interested, but because they couldn't find space to be heard. It wasn't until one of his daughters gently said, "Dad, we miss hearing you ask us things," that it clicked for him. He wasn't being rude, he was being enthusiastic. But once he became more intentional about listening, something beautiful happened. The stories came back, not just his, but everyone's. Conversations flowed both ways. His living room became lively again, full of laughter, questions, and connection. Here's the truth. Listening is one of the most powerful ways we show love. It tells someone, you matter. I see you. I want to understand your world, too. It doesn't mean your stories aren't valuable. They are. But when you give others room to share theirs first, your own words carry even more meaning. It becomes a true exchange, not just a monologue. So next time you're in a conversation, try this small shift, pause. Let someone finish, ask a question before offering your thought. You might be amazed by what you learn, and by how much closer you feel to the people around you. Because at the heart of every strong relationship isn't just talking, it's listening. Let me ask you something simple. When was the last time you looked in the mirror before heading out and really thought about what your clothes might be saying? I'm not talking about fashion trends or expensive labels. I'm talking about the everyday clothes we choose, the shirts we've worn 100 times, the pants with that tiny tear we've promised to fix, the shoes that have been through every season and still live at the front door. As we age, comfort becomes more important, and rightfully so. But comfort doesn't have to mean careless. What many people don't realize is that your appearance, even the most basic details, sends a quiet but powerful message to those around you. Faded, mismatched, or overly worn clothes can make people wonder, are they doing okay? Have they stopped caring about themselves? Of course, that's probably not true at all. But the message gets sent whether we mean it or not. Let me tell you a story about Leonard. He was 75, living alone after his wife passed. For years, she had always helped him pick his clothes, not to impress anyone, but because she believed in showing up for life every day. After her passing, Leonard started throwing on whatever was clean and nearby, even if it didn't match, or had stains he didn't notice. His daughter eventually said, "Dad, when you used to dress up a little, your whole energy changed." It hit him harder than he expected. Leonard didn't run out and buy new clothes, he didn't need to. He simply began choosing what he already had with a little more care: shirts without stains, pants that fit better, shoes he polished just a bit. And you know what? People around him noticed. He noticed. He walked a little taller. He smiled a little more. The way we dress affects how we feel and how others feel around us. A clean, thoughtful outfit tells the world, I still value myself. I still show up. I'm still here and I care. This isn't about looking younger or trying to impress anyone. It's about honoring yourself. And it's a gentle way of lifting your own spirit and showing the people you love that you're still invested in life, that you still have pride in who you are. So next time you open the closet, take a second look. Ask yourself, how do I want to feel today? Because how you dress isn't just about what others see. It's about how you show up for yourself. Let me ask you something. Have you ever caught yourself sighing in a long checkout line, or maybe letting out a sharp comment when a clerk makes a mistake? It happens, we're human, but here's the thing, those tiny moments of impatience. Other people notice, even if they never say a word. As we get older, patience can sometimes wear thin. Maybe it's the aches in your body. Maybe it's the fact that you've lived long enough to know things should run more smoothly. But when we show our frustration in public, even in subtle ways, it can change the way people feel around us. A deep sigh, a grumble, a look of irritation. They don't just disappear into the air, they linger. I remember a man named Raymond, 80 years old, big-hearted, always full of stories. But after a series of personal losses and some health issues, something in him shifted. He started snapping at cashiers. He'd mutter under his breath in waiting rooms. His daughter, who used to love taking him out, quietly started avoiding those trips. Not because she didn't love him, but because the tension became too much. She just didn't know how to bring it up. And here's what's so powerful. Once Raymond realized this, he didn't make excuses, he made a change. He began practicing small acts of patience, taking a deep breath in line, offering a smile instead of a complaint. Slowly, the joy came back. His daughter started looking forward to their outings again and the people around him. They responded too. Cashiers smiled longer. Strangers struck up conversations. That quiet shift in energy made a world of difference. We often underestimate the power of our presence. When we carry calm with us, especially in frustrating situations, we become a kind of anchor for those around us. Think about that. You can be the person who eases the room, who makes the space feel safer just by choosing peace. And the truth is, patience doesn't mean ignoring your feelings. It's not about pretending everything's okay. It's about choosing how to respond. It's saying, I may be frustrated, but I can still be kind. That choice. It's more powerful than we realize, and more rare than we think. So next time you're waiting in a slow-moving line or feeling overlooked in a busy room, pause. Take a breath, look around. There's someone nearby watching how you handle that moment. And your grace, your kindness, might be the very thing that lifts their day and yours. Because in the end, patience isn't just a virtue. It's a quiet gift we offer the world, and the world remembers it. Let me ask you something honest. Have you ever caught yourself saying, back in my day, things were better? Maybe it was during a conversation about music, technology, or how people dress these days. It's a natural instinct. We treasure the past because it shaped us. But sometimes, without meaning to, we can become too set in our ways, too tied to what used to be, and it ends up creating distance between us and the people we love, especially younger generations. As we age, it's easy to find comfort in routine. We eat the same meals, hold the same opinions, and see the world through a lens we've trusted for decades. And hey, there's nothing wrong with tradition. But when we become rigid, when we dismiss new ideas or insist there's only one right way to do things, it sends a message we may not intend, that other people's experiences don't matter as much. That the world today is wrong just because it's different. I once met a grandfather, let's call him Joe, who was fiercely proud of his values and work ethic. But anytime his grandkids shared something new, a book they were reading, a job idea, a relationship, Joe would quickly cut in with, that's not how it worked when I was your age. Over time, his grandkids stopped sharing altogether. Not because they didn't love him, but because they felt unheard, even judged. Joe didn't realize he was pushing them away. He thought he was teaching. But really, he was building a wall without meaning to. Here's the beautiful truth. Staying open-minded doesn't mean throwing away your beliefs. It means being willing to listen, to understand, to say, I haven't lived that experience, but I'd love to hear more about it. It means showing your family and friends that you're not stuck in the past, you're still growing, still curious, still alive. The people around you, especially younger ones, don't expect you to change who you are. But they do want to feel like there's room for them in the conversation. They want to share their world with you, just like you once wanted to share yours with your elders. Being flexible in your thinking, asking questions instead of offering conclusions, these small shifts can lead to beautiful moments of connection. You might even find yourself inspired, learning something new, or laughing at something you never thought you'd understand. So, next time someone brings you a new idea, a different opinion, or a way of doing things that feels unfamiliar, pause, ask, listen. That moment of openness might be exactly what keeps your relationship strong and your spirit youthful. And if you're enjoying this kind of honest, heart-centered content, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. We're here to grow, reflect, and stay connected at every age. Before we close, I'd like to invite you to do something simple but powerful. Take a quiet moment. Maybe right after this video ends, breathe. Think back on the 6 habits we talked about. Did any of them feel a little too familiar? Maybe one made you smile because you've worked on it already, or maybe another stirred something uncomfortable, a habit you didn't realize you'd picked up along the way. The truth is, most of these things happen without us even noticing. No one wakes up and says, "I want to push people away today." No, these are just little patterns, little reactions that quietly settle in as the years pass, especially when life throws us challenges, grief, or isolation. But here's the good news: we're never too old or too set in our ways to shift. And change doesn't have to mean reinventing yourself. It can be something as small as smiling a bit more, listening a bit longer, choosing an outfit that makes you feel just a little more like you again. There's a kind of strength and softness in being willing to reflect and adjust rather than defend and resist. That kind of strength doesn't push people away. It draws them in. It makes people want to sit beside you, listen to you, and grow with you. I once heard someone say, "The most beautiful people are the ones still becoming." That stuck with me. Because it reminds us, you don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to keep becoming curious, open, kind. So here's a gentle challenge for today. What's one small thing you're ready to shift? Is it the way you respond in conversations? The tone of your voice when you're frustrated? Or maybe it's just putting on that shirt in the closet that you haven't worn in a while because it makes you feel a little more alive. Whatever it is, start there, and I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and share which point spoke to you the most, and one small change you're inspired to try, not for anyone else, but for you. And if this kind of reflection and honest, heart-centered conversation is something you value, go ahead and subscribe. This channel is a space for gentle reminders, meaningful stories, and encouragement for every season of life. We're growing together, one insight, one habit, one connection at a time. Thank you for spending this time with me.